Hi everyone, it's Kathy. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm featuring the February 2018 Paper Pumpkin Kit, and this is alternate project number 4. And I'm just going to share one card with you in this video, and I'll have the last card in a separate video coming up shortly. Alright, so here is the card that we're going to make, and I hope you like it. And we're going to start off with Smoky Slate, and we're going to use the Wildflower stamp from the kit. And we are going to stamp on the back side of it. So I'm inking it up and I'm just kind of tapping and stamping from left to right to create the peak of that mountain. And then I partially ink that stamp up to kind of shape it. And now I'm just inking it full on to create the right side. And then just kind of come down a little bit on the left side. And I do stamp very gently when I do this so that we don't have any harsh edges. And I did stamp super light on the left side because you want that left side really light compared to the right side. And that way the image has some dimension to it. And now I'm just going to add the details below the mountain. And again, I'm just partially inking up the stamp and then just kind of tapping really lightly and dragging it on the card panel to get that soft, kind of hazy, foggy look. Okay, and now we're just going to add a little baby mountain on the right there. So I hope you get the gist of it. Now we're going to add some darker highlights, and I've just partially inked up the stamp, and I do tap off, and I'm just ever so gently kind of tapping on the right side of that mountain to add some dark highlights. And I do tap off a lot just in case because the black is quite a strong color. And if you feel more comfortable, you can just clean the stamp off so you can see how much ink you have on there, because after a while you can't tell, and that's why I kind of stamp off a bit more. So when I stamp and I don't quite see much ink coming off onto the paper, I do press a little bit harder, and that way whatever's left on that stamp, it'll give me that kind of fuzzy, hazy look. And now we're going to add some soft sky to add just a little bit of color. And I'm just lightly adding it below the dark highlights that we added in there. And then just to give it an extra punch, I do bring in the Marina Mist color. And I'm adding the color all in the same areas, except I'm adding much less. And now we're going to shade the top of the panel with Tempting Turquoise, but don't come down too much because we're going to sketch in the cherry blossom arrangement and shade the bottom part of the panel. And I really like how that looks because now it looks really dreamy down below. I do add a few streaks above the mountain for some clouds, and then now I'm just sketching in the branches for the cherry blossom. And I know it's a little bit hard to see, but I basically tried to keep my angles kind of soft, and then it tapers at the end. You don't want the hard angles because then it'll start looking like a scary Halloween tree. All right, so I think I'm happy with that, and now I'm just going to stamp the flower arrangement over top of the branches. And I do add a couple of small ones here and there. And I stamped the flowers with Blushing Bride, and then I colored it just like in my last card. And the colors were Powder Pink, Melon Mambo for the centers, and for the leaves I used Lemon Lime Twist and Garden Green for the dark highlight. And now we're going to trace out the branches using Soft Suede. And I am going about this really slow because I don't always follow my pencil lines, so I tend to kind of stray a little bit at times and change things up. So see how the branch is kind of zigzaggy, but it's soft corners, and then it tapers at the end, like there's a little bud. And I decided this branch is going to be a little bit thicker, unlike in the last card I made. And I wasn't too thrilled with the last branch because it looked kind of strange to me. But I'm not going to worry about that too much because we're going to remove 1/4 inch off of that side. And I did add some additional flowers that I just hand drew in, but I'm going to probably end up cutting them off anyway. And I shaded the top again just for good measure with Tempting Turquoise. And then I stamped the thank you sentiment. And then I added a black piece of cardstock to accent the left side of the panel and mounted it on a top folding card base. Well, that's our card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a try, and thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.